I'm so excited to be invited back to be with you guys for our outrageous animal adventure virtual family activity day. The museum has asked me to come back and read 2 really fun stories with you. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and I am really excited to be here at the University Museum and surrounded by all these great drawings and paintings of animals. So stay tuned, because we're gonna read 2 really cool animal stories. Okay, everybody, are y'all ready? This story is so fun. This is a new story for me. I recently read this story when Miss Stacy showed it to me. You guys are gonna love this one because it's funny, but it's also based on real artists. When Picasso Met Matisse by Nina Layden. Oh my, look at them and look at how bright this is. This is gonna be fun. Okay, there once was a young pig named Picasso. While the other piglets rolled in the mud and played games, Picasso painted, and he painted anything and everything, and in a most unusual way. At the same time, there once was a young bull named Matisse. Matisse was not like the other bulls. He wasn't interested in bullfighting. Matisse was happy only when he painted pictures. And he painted big, bold, bright pictures. In time, word of Picasso's talent spread throughout the pig provinces. Soon, art-loving pigs from all over lined up to buy his creations. At the same time, Matisse was getting famous in the cattle community. There weren't many households that didn't own a moosterpiece. Picasso and Matisse were becoming art superstars, but this came with a price. Everybody wanted to see them. Art buyers, art sellers, art students, art historians, art groupies. It was an art attack. One day, Picasso got fed up and said, "I'm tired of this noisy pig pen." At the same time, Matisse declared, "I'm sick of this crowded cow town." Needing a change, they both decided to look for a peaceful place where they could paint without distraction. So each of the 2 artists looked far and wide for the perfect spot. Picasso found a farm, a lovely farm looking towards the east, and Matisse found a handsome farm facing the west. After Picasso moved in, he went to introduce himself to his new neighbor across the road. At the same time, Matisse went to introduce himself to his new neighbor across the road. And that is how Picasso met Matisse. And coincidentally, that is how Matisse met Picasso. At first, Picasso and Matisse were friendly and welcomed each other as neighbors. But soon things began to change. It started one day when Picasso criticized one of Matisse's paintings. Then Matisse made fun of one of Picasso's. Matisse called Picasso an art hog. Then Picasso called Matisse a mad cow. Matisse quipped, "You paint like a 2-year-old." Picasso retorted, "You paint like a wild beast." Matisse raged, "Your colors look like mud." Picasso spat, "Well, your paintings look like color by numbers." Then things got really out of hand. It was a modern art mess. Oh my. Picasso stormed off into the house. "That Matisse doesn't like my art," he huffed. "Well, I'll show him." And Matisse bullied his way into his house. I'll give that Picasso something he can really criticize, he snorted. Then a full-scale feud erupted, but it was a most unusual battle. Armed with ladders and buckets of paint, Matisse launched the first attack. He started at dawn. By the end of the evening, he had succeeded in transforming the outside of his house into a monster-sized masterpiece. Not to be outdone, Picasso fired up his paintbrushes and in full view of the enemy, counterattacked. He turned his form into a huge and outrageous pork of art. The two artists then retreated into their houses and pulled down the shades. Picasso certainly didn't want to look out his window and stare at a Matisse, and Matisse had no desire to give his rooms a view of a Picasso. This presented a problem, and there seemed to be only one solution. Without a word to each other, Picasso and Matisse each began to build a huge wooden fence down the middle of their road. At first, Picasso and Matisse seemed satisfied. Both artists went back to painting by themselves, but after a while, Picasso was surprised to find that he'd missed that bull-headed Matisse. At the same time, Matisse found his studio empty without the presence of pig-headed Picasso. Picasso pondered, that Matisse isn't such a bad artist. He has some interesting ideas. Matisse moaned, that Picasso may not paint like me, but he knows what he's doing. However, being naturally pig-headed and bull-headed, neither artist knew how to apologize to the other. So they did what they do best. They let their paintbrushes do the talking. Picasso painted on one side of the fence, and Matisse painted on the other. Each worked until they were exhausted. It was strangely quiet when they were done. Then, curious to see what Matisse had been doing, Picasso sprinted around to the other side. At the same time, Matisse galloped over to Picasso's side. The silence was broken as the two artists began laughing at their amazing work of art. From that day on, Picasso and Matisse became great friends. They happily took down the fence and shared their different views. A few months later, a big museum bought the fence. Picasso called his side when Picasso met Matisse. Matisse called his side when Matisse met Picasso. The critics called it incredible, and it was at the Museum of Modern Art. The end. And did you know that Picasso and Matisse were real modern artists? Another the end. Okay, everyone, we're back. I'm Miss Andi, and we're going to read You Are a Lion and Other Fun Yoga Poses by Taeun Yu. When the golden sun rises, when warm rays fill the garden, children all gather. Namaste to the morning. Sit on your heels, hands on your knees, tongue out. You are a lion, king of the jungle, roaring so loud, make the woods rumble. Sit with feet together, hold on to toes, legs flap. You are a butterfly. Spread your bright wings, flutter and fly as the breeze sings. Stand with feet flat, bend and touch the ground, bottom up. You are a dog. Stretch in the sun, bark at your friend, ready for fun. Lie on your stomach, hands next to shoulders, push up. You are a snake in the cool grass slither and slide and glide and make a big hiss. Squat on your feet, hands on the ground, hop up. You are a frog. Ribbit your song. Leap in the pond all the day long. Kneel on hands and knees, head down, back up. You are a cat. Frisky at night, mew to the moon, play till it's light. Stand feet apart, palms together, reach high. Mountain, you are a mountain, soaring up high, solid and mighty, touching the sky. Lie down and be still. Slowly breathe in the garden. Relax in the silence. Namaste to each other. The end. I hope you all feel very relaxed now and ready to start your day. The end. Goodbye, guys. Thanks so much for coming to the museum and joining me for story time.